There it
Oh,
goes.
oh
It
my gosh.
worked.
We are up. We are going. I don't know if Facebook is up, Jose. I'm gonna try again. I think StreamYard was having some issues with Facebook, so we'll figure it out. And those of you that can't aren't able to watch, I'm sorry on Facebook. You're probably listening a little bit later, so that's fine. Welcome in, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2021. We made it, Jose. 2021, and all the
Everything's all
bad stuff.
good.
Yeah, everything's good. It's like a fresh start. Nothing bad has happened. Man, 2021 just picked up right where 2020 left off. Like almost like the years don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like
Almost that like
another
it's
day.
all arbitrary. It's just numbers. It's just
It really is. I had to check
whatever.
the date today. I was like, what date is it? Is it the 10th, 11th? I don't know anymore. I
That
just know that
unemployed
I
life. That
know
partially employed life.
partially employed life. Thank you. Thank you. How you doing, man?
Ah, I'm okay. I'm okay, man. It was a very gloomy week last week, I will say.
Yeah,
But
it
I'm
really
I'm all
was.
right now. I've gotten the opportunity to kind of like decompress from all of that because I was in like a state of shock for a day. That was on almost a week ago on Wednesday. I was kind of like in the state of shock, and I was actually at work doing a radio show while that was going on.
Mm.
So it was just really weird, man.
It was
Just
weird.
really
I was
weird. Got a
so
chance to decompress from it, but at
you and
that
I.
time, it was just like having to constantly like give updates to the host
Yeah.
that I work with about it, and just being like, "Hey, man, this is happening now." By the way, and it's just like it was a lot.
Did you guys talk about it on the national side? Because I didn't hear it on any sports radio station. Because you and I were messaging. I was obviously getting updates, and then I
Yeah.
was at NTV when the actual breach happened. So we had a bunch of feeds of raw footage coming in, right? So like I was
Right.
able to watch it, and then on my drive home, I was flipping around the radio stations because I was curious. I was like, man, I mean, I would have talked about it. It would have been that. I mean, that's bigger
Yeah.
than sports. Nobody talks about it. Like it almost sounded like it was a perfect day in paradise.
Yeah, I'll give credit to where credit's due. The host I work with is Matt Peralt. We do a majority sports gambling show called Pushing the Odds, and we pretty much just dropped everything, and that's all we talked about for the most part
Good.
because it was a
It was a
historic
historic
day. Like,
day. Yeah.
yeah, we had guests on, and part of my job is to grab guests and kind of like book guests, topical guests for from the night before, right? So we had an NBA guest, we had a betting guest, since again it's a predominantly sports gambling show,
Yeah.
and we were just kind of like with the guest when we'd start, hey man, today's really crazy, today kind of sucks. Let's try to talk about this for 8 to 10 minutes. And typically those segments are built out to be like 14 minutes long, and we weren't just we he just couldn't do it, and I don't blame him. Like we would go like
Yeah.
10 minutes with the guest, and then we'd be like, all right, well, we kind of got to go because there's more important stuff going on right now that we got to
That's
give an
fair.
update on. And it's just like an unbelievable day. It was
It
just crazy, man. Just crazy.
there I mean there was so much to unpack. I think we all pretty much got the gist of it that it is, it is two different worlds. I think everything
Yeah.
we've talked about in the summer and what we saw, I think it just validated a lot of those thoughts and opinions that we had and facts. So that part I don't want to spend too much time on. I do want to spend quickly. By the way, I forgot to set this up. We have Victoria Hogan, an actress from LA, who is really special to the show because she was on Nathan for You season 3.
She
She
was.
was the actress in the I Love You segment, a little bit that they were doing. And you watched that episode recently. I went back and just watched the scene, and it is incredibly cringe. So she's on Twitter, and I don't know how. I think
I
it's 'cause
actually found her.
you
Someone
found her, right?
someone liked the tweet. Someone that I follow liked one of her tweets where she was saying, "Hey, by the way, if you guys want, I'll send you a personalized 'I love you' like how I did it on Nathan for You." And
And
Raheel, being
yeah.
the guy that he is, was like, "Whoa, I would love if you did one for Jose." And I just thought when you sent that, I was like, "Oh, she's gonna get thousands of these. She won't see it."
Yeah.
But sure enough, she saw it. Sure enough, she did it. And sure enough, She's on the podcast today.
I can't wait, man. I'm so pumped to talk to her because it's going to give us some insight to one of our favorite shows, how it's done, when she kind of knew that she was on that show. So we'll talk to her in just a little bit. But I want to go back. And by the way, Alamo Remedy, I forgot to mention them. A quick plug for them, alamoremedy.com. Use promo code
Unicorn.
10% off your order, $17.99 for CBD, 250 milligrams of CBD per product. $17.99 for all of their hero products, the lotion, the capsules, the gummies, and the tincture. You're not going to find a better deal. You're on that new health kick. So go get it. Go. It helps a lot. I've been using it on my back. I've been using the gummies to help with the seasonal adjustment, and it helped, man. It's awesome. I love their products. Go check them out. Also, I want to mention my brother, H-Town Dental. They're doing a monthly special for our listeners. $99. Get in there. You're going to get an x-ray, general checkup, and you're going to get a general cleaning for $99 for new patients. Just mentioned, you heard it on the podcast. Big ups to the podcast, by the way. We had a few redemptions. Okay. That was huge. Okay. And those redemptions ended up being pretty big for him. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. They do braces, implants, everything. Dental implants, not other kind of implants. Yeah, okay. Yeah. He's not a dentist and a plastic surgeon. He does dental implants. So go give them a try. 3 locations, one in Bel Air, one in East Houston, and one in Magnolia, which is East Houston as well. HTownDental.com. All right, so back to the Capitol riot. The biggest takeaway for me was the same thing that I had in the summer when you saw all of the brands and all of these people. Goodness. All just virtue signaling, like, yeah. How dare we would never align ourselves with this with 2 weeks left in the presidency. Like, come on. It was so disgusting.
The one that really got to me was the PGA.
Yes.
The PGA saying they just, hey, guys, we're so disgusted. We're just not going to allow them to host any of our tournaments anymore.
And did you hear what their excuse was? It's because I did a story on it on NTV. It was because it's not a good fit for their reputation. And I'm like, wait, PGA, do you know who watches you, first of all?
Right.
Jose's not watching you. Raheel's not watching you. Nobody would have judged you one bit if you held your tournament at the Trump Club at Bedminster. Nobody would have judged you. You'd be like, oh, yeah, it's the PGA. It's a bunch of old white guys.
Some judging. There would have been some judging. There definitely would have been some judging. But the majority of the audience wouldn't care. The people who, I assume these tournaments would exist post-COVID, that would go to these tournaments just as viewers, as observers, wouldn't care. But there would be some, oh, by the way, this tournament is happening in Malargo. How do you pronounce that?
Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah. So, there's some weird stuff going on here. But the majority of people wouldn't care. Yeah. But I think there would be some people.
But the people that would care, were they spending dollars with the PGA?
Absolutely not. No.
Right? Like that to me is what's important. Like when you make a move like this, it's about, hey, people that are spending money with us might not spend money with us. It's not they won't, it's might not, right? That is where it is. And are there enough of those might not spend money with us to tip it where we're going to be in trouble? Right? That's why Nike came out and fully said, hey, we're backing Colin Kaepernick. Okay. And if you people who don't like it, or you might not spend money with us, we can take the hit. It's not a big deal. We're a multi-billion-dollar company. We've done the research. It turns out you buying Air Monarchs isn't going to hurt us. Like, it's just not going to hurt us if you skip out on Air Monarchs and go get New Balance. Right. And same with other companies that go, hey, we're not for Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. We're not for this. And if you guys don't like it, that's all right. And they probably did their research as well. So, a good point here by TKTX10. He says, or she says, I'm not sure what is it because it's a dog for the avatar in the comments. PGA would probably lose advertisers. Okay, I can live that. I can live with that. That's a fair thing to say. Yeah. So there's a lot of different things. And if you follow us on social media, you probably didn't get much from me. By the way, did you know I got reported for a tweet? I didn't tell you this.
No, you didn't.
On Sunday morning, Jerry Bow tweeted that, because President Trump was being banned by everybody. Even Pinterest took a stand. Like Pinterest.
Thank you, Pinterest. At a
Pinterest
time
is
like
no,
this.
my insurrection board, I can't access it. So everyone was taking a stand. So Jerry Bow said, "Man, I can't believe it. Six Flags Astroworld pulled their season pass from President Trump." So I did a quick Photoshop of it and quote tweeted that, and I got reported. I had to delete my tweet. It was so dumb. I was like, "Really?
What did it say?"
It was just offensive.
Oh, brother. Okay.
Yeah. So it's all good.
One more brand thing that was hilarious. Axe body spray.
Axe body spray, the hero we needed.
We forgot about Axe body spray.
Now, did you use Axe body spray growing up?
Of course.
You did, right?
I played sports in middle school. Yeah, of course.
Axe body spray, it kind of slapped in high school. Okay, it was kind of cool. It did. It kind of did. Okay, so we're going to get back to some other stuff. We have our guest who we're so excited to talk to, Victoria Hogan, joining us on the Raheel Show with Jose podcast. Victoria, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm doing great. We're doing good. Okay. Yeah, it's a beautiful Monday. Thank you so much for making time. We were supposed to do it last week. We had some stuff come up. We couldn't do it. So thank you so much. We already set up who you are and why we're so excited to talk to you. We're huge fans of Nathan For You. Okay. Yeah. Like I think we were one of the first ones to get on the Nathan For You bandwagon and share it with the Houston audience. And when we came across your tweet, it was like, oh, no way. This is so awesome. Yeah, it really is her. And then when you sent Jose the clip, we were just like, this is incredible. This is the coolest thing ever. So thank you for that. So before we get to Nathan For You, you're an actress. You live in LA, right?
Yeah, I do.
How is that? How wild is that?
Well, it's not very wild. LA is surprisingly suburban, actually. Have you been to LA?
I have. I love LA.
I like LA too. I mean, it's very calm for me. Like, I don't do anything too insane myself, so it's a fine place to live. A lot of actors, as you can imagine, and actors are like pretty annoying in general. You would probably guess, right? So.
But the wild part being like the auditions, just that, you know, it's obviously one of the toughest industries out there. How crazy is that? Like going audition and just trying to land that next big role.
It's hard. It is hard. I mean, they do say, like, I feel like a lot of people sort of try and pretend it's not, but I've had some pretty serious disappointments that have made it difficult. I think like the auditioning has never actually been that big of a challenge for me. I told you I would find a quiet place, but my cats have a sixth sense for when I needed to be quiet. So you'll hear some
okay.
like,
no worries.
It's all good. My dog's probably going to bark in a bit. Don't worry.
Okay. Yeah. Pet friendly podcast. I think the auditions are fun because you kind of rest in a place of perpetual hope. Like maybe the next one. I think it's harder when you actually come pretty close and it gets taken away after the fact. Like it's harder, I think, when you get cast in something and you're cut, or when you're second in line and you don't get the part. That's actually where I think a lot of the heartache comes in.
So how did sorry to cut you off. How did all of that change last year? For you, obviously most jobs, like in the industry Raheel and I are in, the face of our industry just drastically changed. Like now we're doing our podcast virtually, which wasn't a thing before. Like how difficult was that in 2020 for you?
Well, most auditions are actually video auditions these days, so it wasn't that big of a shift, to be honest. I mean, like, there's no work, so that would probably be one of the biggest shifts. But overall, like, honestly, on my end, I was sort of doing my own thing anyway, so it doesn't look too different, to be honest.
Okay.
But
gotcha. And
I'm sure for other actors, it's more serious.
Yeah. So Nathan For You, that's how we know you and how we came across you. And it's one of the most memorable moments from the entire show, season 3, the I love you moment. And so we're going to do something special for you in just a second. I know when you are on a podcast and you're probably tired talking about it, but tell us about that. Like how did it all happen? Like just set it all up. Like what just happened there?
How to begin? Well, I was auditioning for some random, admittedly rinky-dink type thing. I think the stated casting call was for like they were looking for theater actors for an MTV reality show or something
Really?
like that. Yeah. To be honest, I pretty quickly knew it wasn't that. It was like there was just something odd about it. Like I've been to enough auditions to where I was like, this is a little bit strange. But when I did finally, like, I guess, get the part, I mean, we actually auditioned. Like, we read some random script. I think the audition script was something like, I think they were filming it because I imagine they were probably going to use it for the show. They wound up not using it. But it was like, hey, Betty, do you want a Coca-Cola? Like, no, Joe, I'm fine. Like, just something that, like, even just reading the audition script, I was like, there's no way this isn't a prank show of some kind. Like,
So you were up on the BS right away.
Oh, okay.
I knew, I mean, like, I don't want to kill any of the magic, but I definitely knew it wasn't what they said it was. And we got to set, and again, it was just kind of strange. It's hard to explain. Like, my spidey senses were tingling. I actually had to finally tracked down some producers at some point because I'm in the actors union, and I was like, I don't know exactly what's going on, but I need you to know that I'm SAG at the very least. So like whatever, if this isn't for an MTV show or something, that's totally fine. But like, you're going to have to kind of pay me minimum scale, like, which is minimum wage for SAG. And you're going to have to like maybe talk to my agent or something, just because like I knew I was in some weird situation, but everyone on set was very nice and very cool and very like, what's the word, with it, I guess.
Yeah.
So I figured I was in good hands at the very least. And the actual filming sort of went down as you saw it. I mean, again, I felt like when I was doing the scene, I was trying my best to do my job as an actor, right? Which is just enter the situation and be as sort of earnest or vulnerable as I can be. And it did actually turn out to be very sweet for me in the moment. It was it was of course very strange and very bizarre, but ultimately like everyone was so friendly and kind, including Nathan, that I just figured I was along for the ride.
That's the thing about Nathan for you that we love. It's like he's never malicious with it. You know, like he's not trying to make people feel dumb or stupid. He's kind. He's really welcoming.
Yeah.
So when he walked in, this was only 2 seasons in at the point they were still filming season 3. You had no idea who he was, right?
Mm-mm. Yeah, I didn't know what was going on at all. But
did they do they do like vetting processes for stuff like that? Because like, for example, I know we talked a lot about Borat too.
Yeah.
And there was all these stories about how they were vetting people, like specifically for that dancing scene, the really cringy one. Like, did they do something like that for you guys? Or did you pick up on anything, maybe? Because I would assume they wouldn't have wanted anyone who knew about the show, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't quite remember. I think I do remember being asked certain questions. Again, it was like they were asking me questions they were asking me questions that were leading enough to make me think that I wasn't auditioning for an MTV play, but that weren't specific enough to allow me to look anything up beforehand. I don't know. I mean, like maybe I'm not really that involved with pop culture or TV shows. So maybe they just like picked up an uncool vibe for me and they were like, we don't need to worry about it. And they were right.
So after you guys record everything, you're done for the day. Did they let you in on it then? Like, hey, that was actually for Nathan for you on Comedy Central? Or is it something that you wrapped up and you're like, well, we'll see what happens?
They did let us know. I don't know if that's common or not. I think given that it was a bunch of actors and stuff, people were sort of whispering about what it could be by the end of it. It was a couple day shoot in the end. I don't even remember all of the stuff we did, but they did let us know and they were very friendly. And at that point I was able to like watch the show and it's so good. It is one of my favorite shows. It's sort of weird because I was on it and I was on this like big moment in it. So I can't exactly go back and watch that episode, but I've gone through and watched the seasons many times. Like, it's one of the only shows I can watch on my own and actually genuinely laugh. Something about his sense of humor,
Can we recommend? So if you love Nathan For You, have you had a chance to watch How To with John Wilson yet?
No, what is that?
Oh,
Okay,
no.
so it's Nathan For You. Nathan Fielder executive produces the show How To with John Wilson. It's on HBO Max. I named it my TV show of the year in 2020. That's how much I
Nice.
loved it. It was 6 episodes. If you love Nathan For You, you're gonna love How To with John Wilson. It's just it's great footage. It's beautiful writing. It's cringy, but
It's
hopeful.
really.
It's just an amazing production. Like, I don't
I
know
would
how he
say-
did it. Yeah.
I would say it's more cringe than Nathan For You. I would definitely say that.
I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it.
Yeah, just make sure you tweet us when you watch episode 4 of How To with
No.
John Wilson. Make sure you tweet us afterwards and just be like, "What is wrong with you two?"
Okay, I will. I would love to. I think I saw some sort of poster for it or something. I didn't know what it was, but I will definitely watch that. Yeah.
So they tell you right away, like, okay, hey, look, this is what's actually happening. When the episode aired, like, what did people recognize you right away? Did it like cast you into this like pop culture reference for Nathan For You fans where everyone's obsessed with you?
It kind of did, I guess. It's sort of interesting because I wasn't on any social media platform at the time at all. So I didn't know, but I had this, when it came out, I would be out at a bar or something and I would have people come up and say, "I love you." And I'd be like,
No.
"I love you too." Just completely oblivious to what was going on. I was like, I would turn to my friends. I'd be like, "Is there just some magnetic quality to my personality lately? Like, what could be bringing this about?" And then I had some friends and family members send me like memes. They were like, "Is this you? What are you doing? What was that?" And that's when I knew it had come out. But I did actually get recognized. It's funny. I was so like, as an actress, I was so longing for any sort of recognition. It's like sort of built into my DNA as an actor. And when it came out, I was just kind of mortified. Like, not because of Nathan For You or because of or Comedy Central or anything like that. I think I was just like so surprised by how much attention I got that I actually was like very deeply embarrassed by it for some reason. I've since gotten over that, but unfortunately, like, I did spend most of the time just trying to, I don't know, maybe I thought I was a very serious actress who like couldn't possibly be known for that. But yeah, it's interesting how you like reevaluate your mortification over the years, because now I don't care, but at the time I was kind of shy about it.
So
Sorry, go ahead, Jose.
no, you go ahead.
No, you go. You got it.
So I was gonna ask. We found out you had a Twitter via you actually doing the personal shout outs, and I guess we caught you in December, and I think you mentioned on your Twitter that it wasn't the first time you had done it. You did them over quarantine. So obviously you did 2 separate batches, 2 separate times. If you had to, I don't know if you have an actual number. If you had to estimate how many personal "I love you" messages you've done, what would you put the number at?
It's kind of insane to say this, but it was around 5,000. So it was really intense.
5,000?
Yeah, in total, with both. It's really because I also got like then on my Instagram and stuff, which I have a lot more followers on Instagram. A lot of people went through there, and a lot of people like sent me emails and personal messages. So it was just as surprising to hear how many people wanted it the second time as it was the first time. Yeah, it's insane. But I almost like OCD. Anyone who asked, I just had to do it. I had to finish. So now I've closed the
How long did it take you to do all of them?
Well, the first time I did it for like a week, I think it was really consuming. The second, which is fine because I had nothing to do. Like the lockdown had just begun, so I was very grateful to have a job. The second time I did it like over the course of 3 days or something like that.
Not bad. I'm sure like message number 1 was really good, and then by the time you got to like 3,876, you're like, oh my gosh.
By the time she got to mine, she was so over it.
Yeah,
No,
that's
but I wasn't. Like, I'm gonna sound like an insane person, but like actually it was very meditative. It was like really, I was very tired at the end of each day of doing it, but it was really kind of like I got into this flow state with it where I was really vibing.
it's not a bad thing to say I love you 5,000 times like that. It's not like you're not saying something hurtful. That's a great thing to say, and I'm sure it does at some point. You're like, you know what? Wow, these words do have meaning, because you don't understand. It made our day times 100. Like, we were so happy that you responded to us, and I was like, this is so great. So it really means the world to whoever you send it to.
Yeah, it was when I did it the first time, I was like, I was a bit embarrassed again, because I was like, this is silly. And the amount of like really genuine emotion that came back from it made me quickly realize that it is actually meaningful. Like, a huge portion of the people weren't even Nathan For You fans. They were just like, oh, I've never heard anyone say I love you, and I would really just like to see what it feels like. And it was really, it was kind of touching. Yeah. I have to say, it was really nice. It was a very it was just a very feel good, positive experiment.
Now, have you talked to Nathan since the episode?
I have not.
Man,
I have not.
You got to reach out to him. You got to let him know you're doing this. You got to let him know you're doing this. This is incredible. I mean, like, it's one of the best things. There's a lot of cool things to come from that show. This is one of the best things from it. Like, that's a really cool thing.
Oh, that's. I'm glad. I mean, I have a hard time believing that, given the wealth of entertainment available on that show. But I'm glad that you think so.
So you said you are doing some stuff on your own now. What are you up to these days?
I'm sort of divided between working on a couple screenplays and like working with a few producers to get those hopefully made this year, and working on a app. So I'm releasing an app this year as well.
I wanted to actually talk to you about that app, because as I was getting ready I was doing my research. I watched the episode. Good. I looked through your Twitter, and I saw something called Cosmic Creatures.
Yeah.
On your Twitter, I was like, "What is this?" So I saw it was a story from your husband, and he credited you as it being your idea, and it just sounded like really, really cool. Like, do you want can you break that down for our listeners? What exactly you guys are trying to do with Cosmic Creature?
Sure.
It's kind of like the DS what's it called? The little, what were they called? The Nintendogs, I think they were called.
Nintendogs, yeah.
I think that's what they were called.
I'm sort of calling it like Tamagotchi, or
there you go, even better.
Tamagotchi,
even better.
Or like Neopets. Do you remember Neopets?
I remember Neopets too. Yeah.
Yeah, I was big on the Neopets. So Cosmic Creature was sort of born out of this idea that I'm a longtime animal rights advocate, and I find it really interesting that so many of the people who are into animal rights and veganism and all these things are like not super effective at converting people to their cause. Like, it's become very trendy to be vegan, which is helpful if you're trying to make it more popular. But overall, like, I think vegans can be really scary, and they can make people feel really bad and guilty about their eating habits. And I think it doesn't really do what they want it to do. I mean, like, theoretically, if they want people to eat less meat and like be more eco-friendly, I think that like yelling at people or making them feel bad or guilty is really not super effective. So I wanted to make something that would be just a totally feel-good experience built around positive reinforcement and rewards. So basically never punishing anyone for eating something that they want to eat, but also like physically rewarding them through free stuff and like positive encouragement to participate in more of a vegan lifestyle. And pairing that philosophy with this idea that we're all spending just millions of hours on our phones playing Candy Crush, and then like we'll sort of wake from a stupor being like, where did my 8 hours go? Or like Animal Crossing or Tetris or any number of games that sort of suck you in without any benefit. Cosmic Creature is where you take care of a virtual pet and you evolve your pet and send it points, and you send them points by eating healthier, and you send it points by meditating, and you send it points by like purchasing green products. So while you're playing the game, you're actually just literally physically doing something good in the world. So the more hours you spend on the game, the more your creature grows. And if your creature is growing, it would stand to reason that you're growing as well, because you've meditated for many hours, you've been logging your diet, you've been reading more, you've been doing all sorts of all around healthy activities.
That's really cool.
What's that?
There's a note in there that your husband mentions how we take care of other things better than we take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
And obviously, like when I read that part, I was like, my dog, like that was the first thing I thought about, and I just thought like this was just such a awesome idea, just a funny idea. So my question to you is, how do we get Raheel's dog Bane as a character on Cosmic Creature? Will that be possible?
Yeah, definitely. He just has to send me some sketches, like a basic personality profile. We will actually have a cat and a dog on there at some point, but
Nice.
We're launching a Kickstarter at the beginning of February. One of the high rewards will be to get to choose what one of the creatures will be. So I mean, that's a very surefire way, but eventually we'll get a dog, and I'm open to it being your dog.
I hope so. He's older now. He's a little crankier, but he's still sweet. He's a little sweet little cockapoo. So he's awesome.
Oh man, those are the best.
Yeah, it's so cool. We appreciate you taking time out. I know it's a busy Monday night for you, and we really enjoyed talking to you. And we'll be in touch. We follow each other on Twitter, and we really enjoyed learning about some of the stuff from that show that we appreciate so much and admire. And you being one of the cool pieces from that show to join us has been a treat.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
Thank you. And don't forget to watch How To with John Wilson. And don't forget.
I will. I'll let you know.
Yeah, it's really watch it with your husband too. I'm sure he's gonna appreciate it. It's awesome.
Scared of episode 4, but I'm ready for it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Victoria. We appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Good night. Oh, that was awesome to learn about the show a little bit. It's so cool. I mean, we just love that show. We quote it so much. We know about it. Oh, we forgot to, Jose. We forgot to do it. Hold on. I think she's still there. Hold on. Victoria, are you still there? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
We were gonna do something for you. I totally forgot. Can you? So we want to do an "I love you," and we're both gonna say it, and you judge it. Tell us who has the best "I love you." Okay, Jose. Since you're younger, you go first.
Wait, is this one of those things where I have
You
to
should go first
and say it's a tie, or should I really put my
really put
hat
your
on?
and I mean, because the winner of this is going to talk a lot of mess to the loser of this. So there's a lot riding on this. Okay. There's podcast supremacy on here.
We should do if you just repeat it like 3 times, that'll give me sort of a feel for
okay. I like it.
Okay.
Jose, go ahead, buddy.
So who is my subject? Is Victoria my subject, or is Raheel my subject?
No one has to know.
Yeah. Anybody can be your subject.
All right, let me get in my zone.
Oh, he left. Oh my gosh. He's on his phone doing the podcast today because his laptop was freezing up. So that's what happened. He's probably just reconnecting here. Hold on.
I mean, technically you could be the winner, but
I win by default.
There we go.
Jose,
I don't know what's going on.
I know. Go for it. Ready?
All right, here we go. My Wi-Fi took me out of my zone. Here we go. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Bravo.
Okay. All right, here we go. I love you. I love you. I Love You.
The head nod got me.
Head
Yeah.
nod. Come on. Who's the
Um,
winner?
I like the variation in yours, Raheel, a lot. Yeah, the emphasis on the different syllables is
That
really
was.
super
Yeah.
effective. And the variation was stupendous. And
You outclassed me.
today, I think I would have to say there was a sort of like ramshackle charm and humility to her. I would have to say Jose.
Oh,
Oh,
upset of the
man,
century.
the upset alert. That is awesome. Awesome.
They were
Jose,
both excellent. Though.
congratulations.
And
Thank
I
you
love
so
it.
much.
Thank you.
Boom. All right. Thank you for staying extra. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you.
Take care.
I mean, when I said it, Jose, you thought I was saying it to you, right? You're like, man, this is pretty good. This is
Yeah,
pretty
dude, I
good.
was convinced you loved me.
Man, how cool is that?
That was
So
awesome.
cool. And the second time, she's like, I'm hanging up. I don't want any more. Oh, man. Thank you to her. By the way, for those of you that are still listening and you're like, wait, what are you guys talking about? The episode link for that Nathan For You episode is in the bio of this audio podcast. So if you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, wherever, it's in the description or the bio of the episode. You can watch it and catch up on it. Okay. Big thanks to Victoria one more time. A couple of things that now that she mentioned it, you saw what my new addiction is, right? And this was my big fear of bringing in a video game into the house. So,
yeah,
Baby
You're a
Trickster
big
got
Switch
a
guy.
Nintendo Switch. She's played it maybe, I would say, a grand total of 45 minutes.
Now,
And
has she only played it 45 minutes because she quickly lost interest in it, like a young, I guess she's a toddler, right? Would lose interest in something like that,
she
or
just
because
lost
you're always on it?
No. She just lost interest. So she
I
got
think it's
one
because you're
game.
always on it, but
No. And by the way, I have to ask her before I play. And she's like, Daddy, if you don't ask me, you're gonna get in trouble. And I was like, you know what? She is right. It is her Switch.
It is.
So,
Respect her property.
So remember, I told you we got her LOL Girls, which is a cartoon show that she watches and she loves that. And it's like it's a mythic quest kind of game, right? It's a quest. And for a 5-year-old, a quest isn't that intriguing because she can't read all the words yet. So like I have to sit there and play with her, and she gets kind of bored with it. And then and then Mario Kart came in, and she has like no interest in playing that. So
But
instead, she watches me. She's just like, I want to watch you play. It's so much fun when you play. I was like, cool, I can do that for you. Dude, I've been playing every single day. Like during the day, I'll take when I'm working, and I'll be like, oh, I got 30 minutes. I'm going to take a little break here. Nintendo Switch. Oh, at the end of the night, hey, you know what? I'm watching SportsCenter. I think I'm going to play Nintendo Switch. I've played way too much, and I've mastered Mario Kart. Like I'm on the hardest level with the hardest computers, and I'm getting first place over and over again.
See, you've got it good to where you don't even have to pretend like you're letting her play too. She just likes watching you play.
Yeah, she loves it.
You don't have to do the classic, hey, here's the extra control with her. She's just content watching you
Yeah,
play.
she's like, oh, this is the best. I'm like, okay, you can keep watching me. And I always tell them, like, why don't you play? And I'll put it on the easiest setting. We'll go slow. No, I want to watch you play. Okay. Yeah, like and I started Matthew McConaughey's new book, Green Lights.
All right.
And usually I'll rip through a book like this in like 3-4 days.
Yeah.
It's somebody I'm really intrigued by and interested in. I haven't, because all my downtime that I have, I'm playing Nintendo Switch. See, that's why I hate video games. That's why I hate bringing them in. I hate it. They're addicting. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there since we talked about video games. I started a new show I want to tell you about, Lupin. It's a French crime mystery.
Oh
yeah, it's French. It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. It's pretty damn good. 5 episodes. Just watch it.
You lost me at French. You got me back in with a crime mystery. Now, is it in French with English subtitles, or is it set in France?
No. It's a French show, and you can do either the English dub, which I did for an episode and a half, and then I switched to the French.
It's not as good.
And then I just read. Yeah, I just did the subtitles.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty good Lupin, Lupin. It's a pretty good show.
Is it like actually never mind, don't tell me. I'll
Yeah,
just
I don't
watch
want
the
to
first
say
episode.
anything because I went in not knowing anything about the show. I just put it on. I was like, oh wow, pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. So yeah, those are things I want to update you on. There was one thing we wanted to talk about. I forgot what it was.
Dude, how could you forget? Super Wildcard Weekend, the Nickelodeon broadcast. First off, this is a little beside the point, but the Super Wildcard Weekend was awesome.
You enjoyed it, right?
Hell yeah, that was awesome. The NFL spaced the games out really well, that they weren't overlapping. You had like a 15-minute breather between the games. Boom, all right, let's go on to the next game. And then the Nickelodeon broadcast. Now, I will be the first to admit, I was like, this is really corny. Who is this really for? Then they dropped the merch, and I was like, this merch is even cornier than the idea. I had my doubts. I was a skeptic. I was a cynic. But man, that was tight. That was really tight.
Kudos to the NFL, man. They pulled it off. And for those of you that don't know, so the NFL put one of the wild card weekend games, Super Wild Card Weekend games on on Nickelodeon. So yes, the channel's still around. Yes, kids still watch it. And they did the most brilliant thing ever. So, when you watch a game, it's guys in suits and ties and really polished and all of that. Well, they took that and they're like, hey, you know what else we can do? We can make this for kids, because if an adult watches, who cares? This isn't for you, adult. This isn't for you, diehard sports fan. This isn't for you, old cranky sports radio host. By the way, I heard some of that today. Like, what was that broadcast about? Like, oh, they're so dumb. It's not about you. There's a reason why you're still doing that show, buddy. That's why, okay? Like, you're not thinking ahead like the NFL is. And the NFL did a good job thinking ahead. And what they did, that was the most brilliant thing that I told you, was they put somebody in the broadcast booth that had literally no NFL experience. This was her first game. Gabby, she was watching an NFL game for the first time, like many of the kids on Nick were probably doing. So she had the same questions that the audience has.
Yeah.
And that was one of the best things ever.
And then they put her with Noah Eagle, who's a really young guy. He's Ian Eagle's son.
How old is he? You said 22.
I think he's 22, 23. He's the lead play-by-play guy for Clippers Radio. And he's 22 years old. Yeah. And with Nate Burleson from Good Morning Football and CBS, and Nate was the freaking MVP for that broadcast.
Yeah.
And then, as Josh was mentioning in the comments, another brilliant thing about them, which I didn't know, they syndicate Young Shelton, and they had the young version of Shelton explain rules to the kids. Like if there was a flag for pass interference, Young Shelton would pop up and pass interference is, and he'd define it or whatever. Yeah. A 2-point conversion. A 2-point conversion is when the team scores a touchdown.
And he would make a little joke too, like in character, which was really good too. By the way, Noah Eagle, 24 years old. That's nuts. And then like they kept making references to Nick shows. They kept making references to Slime. Nate, as you mentioned, Nate Burleson was awesome. Like he was
an MVP.
He wasn't a stuck-up broadcaster. He's like, cool, we're gonna do this. He's like, I'm working with a 15-year-old and a 24-year-old. Like what if I come in and try talking down to them? This will never work. Everybody had to be on board. Even the sideline kid, I'm blanking on his name. He was fun too. He did a Barack Obama impression. Gabby did a Cardi B impression, right? A Beyonce impression. They were just having fun. And it was so funny to see the reactions, not only from people like us, like we get it, right? Like we understand what they're doing, but man, even like one of my diehard conservative friends who NFL, he hasn't watched the game all year long because he hates the NFL. He watched this one for whatever reason, and even he was like, this is awesome. This is what they need to do.
Yeah, man. It was from top to bottom. I think what you said is best. The best. It was this best put. They all bought into it, and like whether it was Nate, whether it was even the players playing along to it. Cam Jordan was so cool with the kid after interviewing him. The best part though probably was Mitch Trubisky winning the MVP.
That just shows you like kids. You know what? Kids are gonna be kids, man. They're like, that's a funny name. We're gonna make this guy wins because Trubisky was not good that game. There wasn't anything he did that was special. It was just. They probably saw the name and they're like, this is a pretty funny name. Let's just vote for him.
What my theory was it just they NFL Reddit or Bears Reddit just blew it up. Just absolutely smashed it.
I saw
Smashed the
that.
voting.
I saw that they put where it's him, Trubisky, Watson, and Mahomes at the Pro Bowl,
Yeah.
and they put Mahomes 0, Watson 0, Trubisky 1 MVP. That's so stupid. But that's what it's about, man. Like, you got to have fun with it. You got to have fun with it. You know it's going to be different. That's what we did at the XFL, by the way. When I met with them, and they're like, "Look, we don't want to be the NFL. We don't want to be a stuck-up broadcast. We don't want to do this. We want to have fun. We're going to explain stuff to the fans, like, because they don't know what they're watching." And that's why we did so many of those rules explanations, because one, the rules were different. Dude, the first time when I went there for one of those practices, I was like, what the hell is this? I literally took 3 hours out of my night to learn and watch all the tape that they sent us, because it was difficult to understand what we're watching, right? Because it was so different. But to know that, like, you can't take that product seriously, but still take it seriously in that, like, yes, this is a very, important product. It's backed by some pretty powerful people, but we can't take it too seriously where we're not going to have fun and not make fun of ourselves a little bit and all that. So it was weird to see the NFL do that, though, because the NFL is no fun.
We're not used
league,
to
right?
that. Yeah. We're not used to that. And that's hopefully a sign of change.
Mm-hmm. Any chance Roger Goodell knew that was going down? Did they just go behind his back? Because there's no way he would approve that, right?
Yeah. I mean, what's the least, was that, I don't want to say least interesting game, because obviously they're all playoff games. They were all interesting.
No, it was the least interesting.
Was it not the Colts? Well, the Colts played the Bills. Yeah, it was the least interesting.
It was absolutely the least interest. If we had to go and rank them before the weekend, 100% of us would have put the Bears, and it's specifically the Bears. They're not an interesting team. Yeah, and even the Saints, like, they have a great defense, but Breeze hasn't been the same. Like, it's still been kind of like weird trying to get him back in there.
So do you think they just hoped Roger would never find out?
Yeah. They're like, let's just do it. Yeah, you beg for forgiveness later.
I just can't imagine. Like, someone had to have shown him one of those SpongeBob jackets, one of those hoodies.
There's no way he saw the slime cannon.
No chance.
No chance, because he probably would have shut that down, because that was, even for me, that was kind of like, ugh, okay.
You think he saw the SpongeBob field goal net?
No chance. I don't think he saw much of the game production. I think it was like somebody's project, like, hey, look, we have an idea. We think we can bring new people in. We can trend, because that game should not have trended yesterday, but it was trending consistently because of the Nick broadcast.
Yeah.
And whether it be because it was all of Twitter that was watching it or kids, I don't know, but man, it was awesome. Josh says Washington and Tampa Bay, that was the least interesting game. I don't know.
No.
Brady was interesting on its own. Like, I wanted to watch Brady. But yeah, it was overall a good weekend.
And that quarterback, none of us knew anything about, balled his ass off. Who I knew XFL I remember alumni. The name.
Yeah, remember?
He threw one pass for the Texans.
Yep.
And he got freaking concussed when he threw that pass. Never played again.
Yeah, and he was there for the Battlehawks, St. Louis Battlehawks. Yeah, he was an XFL alum. I wonder if they're going to do that for us. Like, anything we do, like, the XFL account's going to be like, yo, check it out, XFL alum Jose Partida.
I would hope so.
You think they're going to give us love like that? If I mean, they're giving it to a backup quarterback. Why wouldn't one of us get it?
Is the XFL account still active? I haven't seen them tweet anything.
So they officially got all the social media stuff.
Hallelujah.
And they are, yeah. So they had like a Christmas sale, they had a New Year's sale, and they've been tweeting some content.
Damn, I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, and I always want to tweet and be like, hey, can I get the footage for my sideline hits, please?
Can I get my reel, please?
Yeah, because I really need it for my reel, man. It would really be cool if you could do that for me. So yeah, but it's cool to see that. It was a good weekend. I'm really happy. Like, you know how I love Russell Westbrook, and everything Russell, I just want him to succeed because he's so not the mold, right? He plays the game so differently. He has obvious flaws, like major flaws. I would love nothing more than see Russell Westbrook win a title. I'm with that. I'm like that with Lamar Jackson. And I've been a Lamar Jackson backer for a long time, back when he was at Louisville. I just want to see him succeed. And yesterday, seeing him make that run, and then the way they took over that game, I was happy with that.
It was about damn time, man. I could not have taken another year of just the disrespect for him. And I was kind of what happened after they won, where they all just kind of ran off the field. I was disappointed. Not that they did that, but that left the embers of the fire of, the Lamar isn't good, or the Ravens aren't good, because they weren't classy for staying on the field after they just beat the tar out of a team that low-key's become a rivalry again. Like,
and they were talking trash to each other.
They had those issues earlier in the season where they were stomping all over the Ravens logo. Like, of course they didn't want to shake hands with them. Of course not. Like,
I love it.
I love it too. And I told Jerry Bow tweeted something about it, and my response to his tweet was, everyone loves a badass, cool sports guy until they do it against their team. And it was just like, stop whining. Like, that was just, they had to put a damper on the Lamar W.
It's funny you say that. I didn't even know any of that happened. Like, I didn't even know it was that bad on social media or anything, because I was doing no layups during the end of that game. So I was busy with that, right? And after the game, it was the Nick broadcasting. We all just kind of moved on. And then today, when I was listening to sports radio, I was like, wow, people are really upset about this. Because why? What are you upset about? Everyone just stop. Take a deep breath. It's okay. It'll be fine. I bet you, hey, athletes are going to play the game respectfully. People are going to move on. It's not the end of sports as we know it. It's not the end of the NFL. It's not the end of respect, all of that. Just everyone relax. Like, we just got to get upset about everything.
And the funniest part was Jim Nantz and Tony Romo were calling it on CBS. If it really bothered you that much, I don't know, maybe go watch it with the best tandem in the NFL instead and shut up and move on. Like, I don't know, man. Just do we have to find everything to get mad at with like, can we just applaud the NFL for getting something right finally? Like, I shouldn't say finally, but this felt like a very, like, really, the NFL did this? Like,
I was talking about Lamar Jackson, though. I was saying I didn't know people were so upset about Lamar Jackson. I didn't know, like, and the Ravens stuff.
On the Nick thing.
No. I was talking about the Ravens. I was like, I was listening to sports radio. I was like, people were talking about this. I didn't even know anything happened.
Oh no,
yeah. I was like, what?
People were because what happened was, as soon as they took the knee for the last time and the clock expired, Lamar just ran off, like literally just bolted into the locker room. He came back out because they won, obviously, and he had to do his interview. But that was it. Like, he didn't go shake hands with Ryan Tannehill or any of that. And I think there was a Harbaugh and Vrabel interaction, but that's the extent of it.
Good. That's how it should be, because next year when they play each other, it's going to be so much more dramatic. Like, that's what you want. Hey, anything else we missed? We're going to wrap this bad boy up. It is a national championship Monday, by the way.
Bama putting in that work.
But Devontae Smith is putting in that work, from what I can tell. There are a lot of touchdowns. Anything else that we missed?
I think we're good, man. We hit on the important stuff.
Good. By the way, subscribe, share this podcast with everyone, share it to 5 people, help us grow a little bit in 2021. Make sure you follow us on social media as well, at ParJ94 on Twitter, at @_Raheel. We interact on Twitter a lot, so if you have some funny stuff, send it our way. If you have stories from Halloween, maybe costume stories, send it our way. Maybe we'll talk about it. Maybe
maybe not.
Maybe we won't. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about it. I don't know. Who knows? All right, buddy. AlamoRemedy.com. Use promo code
Unicorn.
Do not forget 250 milligrams of CBD in their products. You got the lotion, tinctures, gummies, and what am I forgetting? Tinctures, lotion, gummies. What am I forgetting? Oh my God. And capsules. There you go. AlamoRemedy.com, for Texans, by Texans, but they will ship it to everybody across the nation. And don't forget HTownDental.com. Book your $99 special right now. Not free. $99 includes a cleaning, x-ray, and a general checkup with Dr. Ramsnally and his team at HTownDental.com. Jose, thank you so much. Enjoy the second half of this game. if it's going to be interesting or not. We will talk to everyone next week.
Stay spicy.